Hello and welcome to the CEO Mastery Show with Amanda Holmes. This week we're covering the 4 most common blunders that cold callers make and how to avoid them.
Becoming a master is not about doing 4,000 things. It's about doing 12 things 4,000 times.
The Ultimate Sales Machine presents the CEO Mastery Show for entrepreneurs looking to grow faster, better, smarter. If you would like to have a profound breakthrough in your business, talk to our team live by visiting chetholmes.com/breakthrough. Good advice is contextual. Get your answers at chetholmes.com/breakthrough.
Now, have you ever thought about why some cold callers get through no problem while others get stopped immediately? It's not just luck. There are actually small little things that can make a huge difference in just the first 10 seconds on the phone with a prospect. Now, some of you may say, cold calling, really? Well, I'll tell you right now, every time we post a piece of content about cold calling, we get 2 to 3 times more views, likes, comments. So it is still extremely relevant, and it actually converts better than cold email, if you can believe it. Now, many people do this fairly tactical, and that's why you only get a 2% response from your cold calling. I'm telling you, you can get up to 9 times more than that if you just follow some of these strategies that I'm about to teach you. The first biggest blunder that cold callers make when trying to win business over the phone is the tone tells it all. The success of a cold call is 93% your tone of voice. Now, if you haven't seen videos of this on YouTube of Chet Holmes, who was the ultimate, my father, author of The Ultimate Sales Machine, but you have to see his videos of this. Search into YouTube, Chet Holmes cold calling. I mean, it's just great. He has some great role playing on there. He was a master at this. He worked with 60 of the Fortune 500. He cold called his way into 60 of the Fortune 500. And here's just a few of those tips. So, tone. Very often, you may be talking like this. Do you notice how when you get nervous or uncomfortable, you talk speaking up? The end of your sentences go up, like you're in a question mark, and you're worried, so you're trying to win people over. Versus, if someone calls you that's of authority, like a newscaster or a detective or police, they speak down. Their tone ends in a downward face. So, hello, this is Amanda Holmes. Versus, hello, this is Amanda Holmes. As soon as you hear, hello, this is Amanda Holmes, you know that you're about to get sold. So, first step, and I remember when I first started, I practiced this a lot because my voice was much higher and I was very young at the time, trying to figure out how to speak over the phone, especially even in webinar presentations. I would practice how to get onto a Zoom call. I would start it speaking down. I mean, I would just sit there for an extended period of time or before I got onto the phone. Hello, this is Amanda Holmes. Hello, this is Amanda Holmes. So the second biggest blunder for cold callers is the how are you problem. It's seemingly innocent, however, it can completely turn off your prospect within the first 3 seconds. And how critical is that first impression? So instead of, hi, how are you today? Or, hi, I'm looking for Shirley. Is she in? How are you? Right? We don't want any of that. We want to cut right to the chase, especially if you're calling B2B, right? If you're calling straight to a business owner or somebody that actually values their time, you want to get straight to it fast. So replace, how are you, with, hello, have you heard of blank? What is the name of your company? I'll give you an example of this in a script in just a moment. The third biggest blunder that cold callers make is talking about you. You're calling to ask if they are interested in using your services. Hi, we're calling to ask about your merchant services. What percentage are you getting? I bet you we can beat it, right? If you are only speaking about you, you're only going to get 3% of the marketplace that's in that buying now category. And I will tell you right now, that 3% is competing with all of your competition. You would rather get to the 7% that are open to it, but they weren't actively looking for it. The 30% that don't even know about you, your product or service, it's just not on their mind. Even just that much is 40% more possible clientele. So how do you speak to them? meeting them exactly where they're at. I'm going to give you an example of this. So we have a dojo where we have clients that have more advanced clients that have been a part of our world for a while, and we're helping them with their education-based marketing and their Dream 100 campaigns to continue to hold that pig-headed discipline and determination every week, week after week. One of our clients, Tim Urich, the CEO of Tier 1 Capital, was talking about a cold calling deployment that he was doing for his Dream 100, and I said, whoa. Let me write you a script. And while we were on the call, in about 10 minutes, I wrote this down, but I think it proves the point of what you're trying to see here. Let me read it to you. Hey, whoever the prospect is, right? Hello, this is Tim Urich of Tier 1 Capital. Have you heard of us before? You wait to hear yes or no. We've been working the last 30 years to put more money in the pockets of small business owners that have lost control over their cash. There's something really important we're seeing. According to Bank of America's last report, half of businesses have cut back their growth in business right now due to the rising inflation. Now, Bob, are you the half that's pushing forward to grow, or are you focused more on protecting and pulling back? We hear, are they pulling back? Are they pushing forward? Interesting, because 69% of business leaders like you are struggling to sleep because of cash flow issues. I know we just met. You don't have to tell me if you're losing sleep, but the vast majority are. That's why we recently commissioned a research study to help people like you on the 3 disturbing trends that threaten your business and put the next generation at risk. It's 42 pages of data that's over 1 million of research on cash flow, employee turnover, and business success. You don't have to read all of that. We did all of the work to get that. Now we can give it to you in just under 19 minutes. You will see the 3 reasons family business owners are knowingly failing themselves and the next generation, our specialized plan to retire one generation without bankrupting the next, and the secret to creating generational wealth for you and your family that you can depend on for the future without affecting current cash flow. Would you find benefit in 19 minutes to discover how you can put money in your pocket? Woo! Right. Notice how that is a completely different experience from just, hey, I want to talk to you about your portfolio. I want to talk to you about your, do you have a trust? Are you taking care of your second generation, right? This is purely tactical versus coming with something of value, already knowing what the prospect's problem is. Now, if all of that sounded of interest to you, Tim has a magnificent 19-minute presentation to show you all of that information because they hired us to do a core story. So we have a lot of that data for you. You can go to tier1capital.com. That's tier, T-I-E-R, the number 1, capital.com. So tier, T-I-E-R, the number 1, capital.com. You can get that report live. He'll show it to you, and it's brilliant, and he is top-notch. So I hope if you need that, you can get to him. The 4th biggest blunder of cold callers is giving up. I cannot tell you how many times people ask me, when do we just give up on a prospect? When is enough enough? I also hear, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to feel pushy. I don't want to bother them. If you truly believe that you have something that provides them a value that assists them, then it is your moral obligation to follow up until they say yes, right? Think about the pain that they are enduring because you are not there. And if you're not speaking to those people that can truly add a value, then you need to go back to the 4-part framework of the ultimate sales machine to find your ideal clients that are wasting away and in a lot of pain because you're not there. So the reason why this is critical is because 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact, okay? 5th to 12th contact, and yet only 10% of salespeople follow up after 3. You're giving up too soon. You are wasting those valuable leads if you're only following up once, twice, maybe thrice. This is where pig-headed discipline and determination needs to kick in, right? Pig-headed discipline and determination to continue to follow up. How are you adding value? How are you educating them? How are you giving them great information? How are you giving them great resources? What are you doing to be a bright spot in their day? That's where you can get creative. There's so many ways to be creative today, and there's so much more information to know about your prospects. You could go on their LinkedIn, you could go on their Facebook, you could find the most intimate details. If they're a millennial, very often you can find their most intimate details online. And 44% of decision makers in B2B are now millennials. So what information can you find to be a smarter person to provide them value and truly understand where they're at? Because that's what you should do. Stop selling, start educating. Stop selling, start serving. Well, there you have it, the critical mistakes that companies make when cold calling. And they're very simple, right? It starts just with your tone, and then it goes into stop saying how are you, because nobody wants to tell you how they are doing. And then it goes into to stop pitching you right out the gates. You'll only get 3%. Instead, speak to the painful problem of where they are and start educating them on it. And then persistence pays off. Don't give up so easily. How can you follow up more than 3 times? More like 5 to 12 times. Do you have that systematized? Is everybody trained on it? And how many times are they trained on it? That is this week's episode of the CEO Mastery Show. If you'd like to generate a higher ROI from your cold calling efforts, reach out to us. We can help. Go to howtodoublesales.com and get a no obligation consultation. In under 30 minutes, we can give you some ideas on how to be more effective. Heck, bring your cold calling scripts. We'd love to see them. We'll give you feedback right there on the spot. No obligation. You just have to go to howtodoublesales.com.